Welcome back to the new professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce the Terran player in the red, who I think is incredibly well positioned to take advantage of the changes to the game. It's Micro Jackson. It's ByuN. And on the other side of the map, the #1 ranked Protoss in the world. Not the Protoss we deserve, but the one we need right now. It's herO, the smiling assassin. A best of 5. Terran versus Protoss, already starting off quite spicy. Yes, I think ByuN, with the changes to the Cyclone and just the meta in general, he thrives on chaos, but always charts a similar course through it. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see your more generic bio build out of him, while Blink is herO's favorite. But this time he's going back to an old staple, the Stargate. And I'll go back to an old staple, begging you to like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what? 1,154 likes. If we get 1,154 likes on this video, I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making my day a little bit better with just the touch of a button. And, oh wow, that was cornier than usual. Gonna get sued by Iowa. And hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully this series will make it a little bit better. I actually haven't seen any matches with ByuN on the new balance patch. As I see in the production tab here, not a stranger to the Cyclone. As I think anyone, you would have to be living under a rock that did not get scanned and targeted by Cyclones, in order to ignore some of the changes, being so much cheaper but more brittle, maintaining that lock-on and that relatively high damage output. It has made Stargate openers even more rare as compared to Blank, but herO is opening up. ByuN went with the command center on the high ground, the classic Terran no scout at all build. His first scout is going to be the medevac being sent across the map. As well, okay, 4 minutes in. Meanwhile, herO got in with the probe. I believe near the beginning of the game he sent it out and followed it up with an adept. But here we go, 7 Marines, and dodges all the hits and slips into the medevac. Cyclone also participating in the group activity. Only the Marines, but there's 2 Cyclones here, and herO doesn't know it. They'll lock on immediately. The shield battery should be enough to keep them intact. Well, it only gets one of them. Only one target at a time, but Cyclone not back at home means the Oracles. Well, trying the Marines, just barely not enough here. What else is in the mineral line? Nothing. It's free real estate right now. Well, the Raven comes out, slaps down an auto turret. He's actually trying to burn through it. Target fire is just barely good enough, but 10 SCVs down. And the Oracles, I don't think ByuN expected it at all, as Blink has been the order of essentially every day since the patch. Occasionally players, well, defending with the Stargate just doesn't really cut it. The Cyclones are more than good enough. 2 Cyclones can easily take out an Oracle. But those 2 Cyclones were on the other side of the map. And keywords, they were. It appears that Phoenixes were able to take them out. Do they have kills? They do not. What do we got down here? 2 kills, 1 kill, 2 kills. Looks like those were cleaned up. Well, both players were really microing the Oracles. And what are you gonna do? There's nothing to protect the Raven. herO just gets in. A series of unfortunate events for ByuN will lead to herO having a 20-worker lead. And one of the Oracles survives throughout it. The auto turret got the first one, but the second one was able to get the revelation off. And the Phoenixes just have the run of the the flight of it. Yeah, even better. Medevac will make sure that Oracle feels very uncomfortable. But one of the few Terran units that does not have an attack. And behind this, or underneath it, we've got charge and +1 armor. Double expand from herO. Getting his 4th base ridiculously quick as ByuN focuses on defenses. So herO slicing into the economy and building up production behind. Overall, just an amazing start for herO here. Medevacs should be next. Well, is it going to be medevacs? Anything's going to be difficult to keep alive against the mass Phoenix play. There are no Widow Mines. +1. Air weapons? Now, this is... Okay. Well, now there's 2 Widow Mines on the way, even ByuN acknowledging that against Phoenixes. And there are charge lots on the ground as well. Though I'm not sure ByuN knows about that. In fact, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, what info does he have? I would suspect Colossi, if I was ByuN. A sprint into the other side of the tech tree to help burn through the bio. But Widow Mine's perfectly good against charge lots as well. Struggle more against the Robobay tech. But hero, quantity is a quality all its own. And he's got 5 gates, going up to 9 of them. He's already got 8 Phoenixes, and counting. +1 air weapons on the way. There are a couple Widow Mines out there, I believe. He just finished 2. There are 4 in total, and we found them. Down goes several Phoenixes and the rest of the HP. 1, 2, 3. And just like that. Wait, does that not count as a battle? Okay, let's check it. It might be... Oh, 4 Phoenixes for 3 mines. Terrans will tell you that's an even trade. I'll tell you it's a little bit more in ByuN's favor. But, yeah, the triple medevac being sent out. The charge lots trying to chase. Robo is on the way. Was there no Robo? No Robo at all. And now, charge lots and Phoenixes are not known for their really mass DPS. This is kind of an army that's to bully your opponent. It is to take a fight and win it before they can even try to muster their forces. But the problem is ByuN has enough army supply that there's no splash damage here for heroes. So what was once a potentially overwhelming advantage is now like, okay, force fields, but there goes the Oracle. The charge lots are trapped on the wrong side of the force fields. Some days I feel like if we got rid of the force field ability, it would increase Protoss's win rate. And this is one of those days, as hero struggles to make any headway there. He's gonna try to drag the mines into the Terran army. ByuN is able to dodge out. More mines will burrow. More damage done. More charge lots chased down, and ByuN battles back to a supply lead, actually. Even though there's a warp gate on the other side. Robobay on the way now. But that kind of meandering tech path from hero may end up coming back to bite him. As ByuN, he may not realize how incredibly greedy hero's expanding everywhere. He's playing like a Zerg right now. More Widow Mines will burrow. But Widow Mines do effectively invalidate the Phoenixes, except used as effectively suicide bombers. The only splash damage that hero has right now are ByuN's Widow Mines. And you saw him attempt it there, but ByuN was more than capable of dodging out of the way. How many charge lots on the map? Only 13. The army supply is still about even. The bio army, when put together, now some ghosts on the way. This is the second proxy gate, as hero has been light on the warp prisms because he didn't have a robotics facility, which I get it, testing out the Phoenix charge lot, but unfortunately, even, well, there was nothing in the patch that really made Phoenix charge lot any more effective against bio. EMP has a slightly smaller radius, but otherwise, I'm kind of racking my brain as to why this would work better than it did before. And it appears the same counters, well, still on the table, but hero does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases to just now 3. He's got the income. You can see the stonks there, and then the mules dropping, and then the stonks again. The ghosts wipe out the energy. And that should be the end of the Phoenixes slicing through. We got a fleet beacon on the way. Hero's got all the goodies here. At least he's putting them together. +2. Ground weapons and armor. He's already got +1. How does he see that? Oh, turret at the front. The Widow Mines. Hero's going to try to bludgeon ByuN. Well, maybe not bludgeon, but essentially crush him under the economic weight of having about half the map. But ByuN is building up that critical mass Terran army. Vikings, ghosts, And then as many Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs as you can put in between them. Extended Thermal Lance is done. Hero's nearly maxed out. He's building disruptors now. EMP wipes out all the energy of the Phoenixes. And the shields as well. Let's just throw that one in there. So the Phoenixes now, well, going to want them against the Vikings. ByuN knows the threat is there. The Widow Mines connect the depots, funneling the charge lots quite well. A command center is optimistically floating in mid-battle. The Warp Prism brings in some more charge lots. Starting to target. The command center's absorbing a lot of the hits here, which may actually help a lot in the long term, though he is going to lose it. So at the end of the day, we got a mothership on the way. Double Ruptor in production. ByuN on losing that command center. It may have helped a little with the fight, but Hero's now got 2-2. The army supplies are about even, but Hero is maxed out at 110 army supply. He has 90 probes. So he does have to keep trading and refilling his army. The mothership is a third of the way there. Well, the daughter ship, as it is a little cheaper and no longer vulnerable to EMP. It only has cooldowns, not energy, like a battlecruiser. But EMPs hit everything. Disruptor shot. A dangerous scouting mechanic. The disruptor costing 4 supply instead of 3. As opposed to earlier in the patch. Definitely makes it a little harder to fill in too much more of the army. But 3 more Nexi on the way. Hero is 1 base away from expanding to ByuN's 3rd. Or his alternative 3rd, at least. There's the Gravitic Drive. The Warp Prism going to warp in, but he's maxed out, so he can only warp in 1 Zealot, which is one of those weird problems. The Vikings hit the deck. Hero. He's maxed out with nowhere to go. Mothership is done. The Mothership gonna try. It looks like he's gonna go for a mass recall. But, some of the Ghost getting taken out by charge lots. So anything you could do to whittle down the critical mass army composition of ByuN is going to be helpful. A dozen SCVs down. Warping in more Zealots. He can't even mine from all the bases he currently has access to. Now ByuN, well, the mothership's up here. I'm not sure what he wants to do with it. He doesn't want to give it away. Charge lots being sniped. Snipe technically doesn't kill them if they're at full HP. Alright, a scan. The army over to the left flank. Hero trying to bring the mothership in. Looking for an angle here. I don't know if ByuN spotted the mothership. The Vikings. Disruptors. Fires a salvo. ByuN loses some pride. And also a few Marines and Marauders. The mothership looking for an opportunity. 2-2 is now done. He's mass recalling. I don't know if this is actually the play, though. He recalls in, which sets him up for some EMPs. Fires off some Ruptors. It actually cancels the planetary. This may have been a bit of a... well, he kills another command center. And the Disruptor's doing a lot of damage. The Vikings are covering for the Colossi. Time Warp may actually help land a Disruptor hit here. This fight is quite a mess. 15 more Stalkers are warping in. The economic weight and the ability for Hero to remax that army out may be enough to carry him through. ByuN actually just taps out. I think ByuN overestimated how far ahead Hero was. Yeah, sure, it wasn't going to go great. From that position. He doesn't have the economy. 3-3 is done. And the fact that there's a Nexus essentially on his front porch. But, yeah, just because you can move the army around doesn't seem to have increased the strength dramatically much. A very interesting opening game there. ByuN bottled up in his base, almost able to break out, but it just doesn't pan out in the end. The takeaway from that, I think, is that you need the Colossi. You need the Robo Bay. Charge lots aren't going to do it. The same things that counter the Phoenixes counter the charge lots. Yes, Hero won the game. But it was almost obscenely close compared to the position, the advantage he had from the early game Stargate play. And the gamble, Oh, it's an NG Babylon. ByuN's had enough. And by that I mean one game. But now, sending out the SCV, not for a proxy, Rex. So the engineering bay block. And hero's already scouting out. The engineering bay block is an attempt to funnel the Protoss tech path and positioning to where you can kind of just pick it apart. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go Cyclones, but with Cyclones as an additional option in the new patch as a very early game choice, it leaves... Honestly, I'm not sure what the best response is. Hero has just kind of gone Blink Stalkers against everything. That last game, Stargate, was the exception. It looks like instead of taking his third... Now this... Who is it more worth it for? That is 5 probes off the line. But it's also the engineering bay, which does get canceled, minus the 25% restocking fee. And it is the SCV. I feel like it isn't an obvious win for either side. I don't think there's any way that ByuN can take advantage of this before, like, the Nexus finishes, because that's when you have potentially battery overcharge. Warp gate isn't going to really be relevant this early. Oh, it's going to be a reactored factory. What are we gonna build? Now this is the key point, in my opinion, and also the main sticking point of the current patch, is you see a reactored factory, and the option that doesn't really narrow down the possibilities very much. Before, your options were Hellions or Widowmines, both of which have similar responses, both of which are relatively weak to things like Blink Stalkers. Whereas now with Cyclones being potentially built out of the reactor, Hellions, Stalkers, are not necessarily the great... He's building a Cyclone out of the Tech Lab factory there, which... I'm assuming, based on last game, ByuN knows you don't need that, but he may just want the tech lab for later. But it's the ambiguity, it's the inability to tell what's coming out of the factory that makes it that much harder for Protoss to really tailor a response. Yeah, he does see the reactor. He saw the Hellions, so he knows that's the start. And it's just 3 gateways so far. Just literally and figuratively. That's what I was trying to struggle to. Covering his bases here. Wow. He's suspicious of a drop or something coming in from this angle. He's sitting with a probe just to get that extra split second of warning. And a potential proxy / spotter pylon as well out there. Hero. Playing it very safe. But if you try to cover too many angles, that might leave you weak to all of them. We'll have to see. That's my experience with playing this sort of like very middle of the road Protoss. Is you just end up not quite having enough of anything to deal with early Terran pushes. But he does have already 3 Stalkers and 3 resonating glaives? No, he cancels it immediately. Blink. I think he saw the tank. Third base is spotted as well. Hellion, hero, completes his wall. Achievement unlocked. Alright, Blink is on the way. It is quite a late Blink. Oh, the Cyclone. Looking at wherever it locked onto the last time. There have been a few bugs. Or I guess you might call them features. But with the Cyclone, we'll see if it locks on. Okay, alright. Sometimes it does a good job. Alright, well. The deadly dance. The Cyclone does end up getting away with murder. The rest of the units are going to close in, but Hero actually pulled away from the front. with everything. The Cyclone will spot the Stalkers, but that means the Tactic Boys have been pulled. And hero doesn't actually know ByuN is moving out with one of the weirdest timings. I haven't seen a tank push like this in quite a while. It's not every SCV. It's like 7 of them. And the Stalkers, here we go again. Is this going to be another like semi-base trade scenario? A hallucinated Phoenix, but the information is a bit late. Blink is about to complete, but the Stalkers are on the wrong side of the map. He wants to blink into the main, but his main might be dead by that point. He blinks into ByuN's base. He goes for the combat shield. He's going to get it. Little does he know it is combat shield. Once those Marines stim, I'm sure he'll figure it out. A recall to the natural, which is already under fire from the siege tanks. Oh no. The SCV is here to repair. The Stalkers may be able to... No. Oh god, it's a disaster. ByuN just walks up and clocks them there. And turns the table on this series. All tied up 1-1. I don't know if it's a good... Oh, it's probably definitely a bad thing. Yeah, that's my experience with trying to play a nice middle-of-the-road defensive style as Protoss. For better or worse, it feels like your best bet is to hit him first. And hero tries to sit back and defend. And ByuN slips through with the sucker punch. And takes game 2. Alright, I'll type Jimmy, please. Where are you going now? Is he going to NG Bay block again? 100% success rate so far. In fact, in the admittedly limited, I think it's only like 3 games so far, including that last one, games I've seen at this level, the NG Bay block has resulted in a win. Now, can it be attributed directly? I think in that game of Clem versus Max Pax, yes. That last game, it certainly dictated the pace of the game. I'll have to keep track of that win rate going forward. This one was the weakest one yet. The probes pulled off immediately. SCV goes back home, cancels it with just 1 or 2 attacks left. A lot of lost mining time. But of course, Terran doesn't have as many SCVs. Leon, a command center is building. So, looks like we'll be settling down a bit. No sort of super early aggression from either side. This is Site Delta, which is definitely a more macro map. I was trying to decide which direction we go, much like Hero in that last game, but it has a ramp to the natural, and the bases, except for a couple right down the center, expand away from each other. So it's one of the largest maps in the new pool, and I wouldn't be surprised to see significantly longer games on it because of that. There's really no reason for the armies to be fighting in the center unless there's except for either initial attacks or counterattack opportunities. But there are no bases near the center of the map to really fight over. So usually you'll see a lot of kind of going around the sides. I mean, both games so far have been... I don't know if I'd call 2 oracles in the mineral line a base trade, but about as base tradey as you can get. Alright, straight to the Twilight it is. With a sentry for hallucination right off the bat. It took 3 games for ByuN to revert to his natural state, which is building as many barracks as possible and a bunch of Marines. Stim and combat shield. 3.5 minutes in, of course, and Hero's gonna spot it. Hallucinated Oracle. You think ByuN knows? I think he does. Still gonna play it safe here. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, okay, well, that answers the question. He knows. He's just walking away from it now. Letting Hero know that he's not fooled. Was a little cute, though. Didn't pull the SCV, so no real net effect. But maybe a bit of heart jumping there. Alright, Blink can be good against the early bio play. But you do have to be very on top. Oh. ByuN just takes the third base on location. Not hesitating. He knows he's going to have map control. The bio army, unless it gets picked apart by the Blink Stalkers, should be able to maintain. Essentially, if hero moves out, he's got to tiptoe his Stalkers around to make sure that Blink is off cooldown. Otherwise, he's going to get gunned down on the open field. 2 Marauders adding a lot of potential damage. He's just looking. Hallucinated Void Ray? You're not lost. A hallucinated Void Ray covering for a real Warp Prism with 4 Stalkers in it. He spots the army. He did not see the Prism. So, a bit of a cute move there from hero. Not that I think it made the difference, but just keep it ByuN looking the other way. Void Ray gets it worked. All right, the Stalkers come in. They blink in. They're gonna go for the SCVs. Pre-pulled. He's gonna get a few of them here. Targeting down the Marines. Ghetto blinking into the Prism. 3 SCVs and a few Marines. Observer watching the 1 Marine at the front. Stalker. I'll get him, boys. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'll do a little dance. Get down tonight. Well, the Stalkers, the 4 Stalker patrol team here. 2 flavors of Blink. In order to be a moderate annoyance. Definitely not enough to be game-changing. But, well, if the Prism dies with all 4 Stalkers inside, that's game-changing, but not the way hero would like. It kind of looks like hero's doing a 2-base all-in. Has he spotted ByuN's third? The fact that ByuN just slapped this down in the slightly less likely location here up towards the north, not the one right underneath his main, but instead a little further out. Hero thinks ByuN is on 2-base, and he's preparing for a 2-base defense. He's got Colossi with extended thermal lance. Unfortunately for hero, ByuN has bamboozled him. And now, he's going to scout that third. Completely finished with a bunch of SCVs mining. Yeah, we're going to the hero. Oh, no. Oh, yep. Slap down the base. And that is unfortunate. For once, just building the third on location and not trying to do some big fancy attack during it. It's so obvious. It wasn't obvious. It's one of those plays that only works particularly great against the very best players. Ghost Academy on the way, ByuN. Making sure he's got everything covered. Not going to risk his army. I think he knows he has an economic lead. So there's no reason to throw it away by trying to break hero's relatively fragile army. When he knows, I mean, we saw game 1 where ByuN constantly undergunned and with way less bases, still pretty easily went toe-to-toe with the late-game Protoss. So now that ByuN has even a slight, okay, maybe not so slight, economic advantage, it's going to be that much easier. Or at least on paper. But this ain't a board game. 3 ghosts on the way. 2 Vikings. Disruptors. Is that a 3rd Robo? No, Robo number 2. I'm a big fan of the 4-5 Robo. At some point, just acknowledge that your best units come out of the Robo. The Immortal was marginally buffed, so it at least blocks 1 EMP. And now absorbs the initial hit, including EMP damage, instead of reacting to it afterwards. ByuN has an armory on the way, but he's a long way off any additional upgrades, whereas hero is about to finish his 2-2. finishes up +2/+2. Hero is behind 20 army supply and 15 workers right now. But his army on the map gonna be pretty solid. Disruptor doesn't quite reach the tank. Guardian shield used. He's got the War Prism in the... Oh, what is that blank hero? He thought he could pick off a part of the army, but he gets punched back right across the jaw. The siege tanks were already there. I don't think he has... Well, yeah, he has no vision of ByuN's army. Map is dark. And full of Terrans. Gateway. Proxy gate. To the south side. Bunch of charge launch heading north. 3-3 already on the way for hero. ByuN nearly maxed out. 4th base planetary in production. Ship weapons level 1. As well as +2/+2 for ByuN alongside barracks 6, 7, and 8. It's shaping up to be our first real, relatively even, well, it's a bit of role reversal. Instead of hero having the entire map and ByuN being bottled up, it's definitely ByuN with the advantage. And hero focused on pure army splays, only had 62 probes. And with the nerf to disruptors costing 1 supply extra, it adds up as so far 5 disruptors, 2 more in production. That is, well, essentially the 7 or 8 more probes you'd probably be used to seeing in a maxed out Protoss composition. But Hero is truly focused on fighting heads up. I think he realized the folly of trying to face Terran with a smaller army. Yeah, that's a lot of Protoss right there. We got 20 charge lots on the ground, 14 stalkers. He's got 3 colossi stepping up and 4 sentries in the mix. Even an adept left over from earlier. Yeah. ByuN with a 40-50 supply of bio up to the north side. Maybe 40 seems about right. The Vikings, siege tanks holding the line. Does Hero have enough at home to defend? A fusion core is on the way. But almost, oh no, the War Prism is spotted. He's actually able to cut off the reinforcing prism. 3 charge lots make it into the mineral mine. ByuN looking to join up his army with the rest of it. +2 infantry armor completed. And +2 infantry weapons soon to join it. But 3-3 is done for Hero. He's got 9 disruptors, ready to unleash a salvo. He's very close right now, but the disruptor is getting obliterated by the siege tanks. Still 1 siege tank intact. ByuN maintaining near 200 supplies. He's got 4 liberators on the way simultaneously. Hero unable to break into that location. Will try to look for more pliable angles. The Colossi kind of getting stuck out behind. The Bio Army. Disruptors will ward away. Charge lots trickling through. Ghost Cloak is done, which could become quite relevant in the midst of these fights. Maxed out for both sides. Here we go. Hero's got a 2-upgrade advantage. Alright, EMP hits the center mass. Disruptor shots. Dodged out. Gets maybe 1 Marauder. SCVs taking some extraneous fire. 1 connection. Vikings over the top. That hit. Front side. ByuN dipping heavily. That one hit home. The Liberators are out, but a little late for 1 big chunk of Marine Marauder. Somehow able to keep most of these Colossi alive. Another EMP washes through. And this time, charge lots of the recipients of most of the disruptor hits. Fires off another salvo. That one, the charge lots having to dodge as well. But the Venn diagram of freedom is raining down liberation upon most of the ground army. Liberators are taken out, but at what cost? The boys are pulled, and ByuN turns the tables again. The fadeaway shot clips a couple Marines, but a Colossus crumbles in turn. And the only survivors for the Protoss army are a handful of disruptors and 1 badly bruised Colossus. ByuN holds the line and crushes Hero underneath the Liberators. Hero, he started off so strong, but when things start sliding downhill, they tumble quickly. And now another group of charge lots coming in, but there's no anti-air at all in this army composition. He finally warps in some more stalkers, finds a few sentries in the composition. Hero, he's now building a Templar archives, which he was missing out on before. ByuN working towards 3-3. He's been fighting this battle with an upgrade disadvantage. Though, Liberators and Ghosts don't particularly care much about that. So hero did not have a high economy. Hero's only had 70 probes. He was really focused on making sure he had enough army to contest ByuN, which essentially means having 10-20 more supply. It wasn't enough. Advanced ballistics about to complete. +3 infantry armor already done. Hero has less of an advantage than before against a better ByuN unit composition. I'm not sure how he means to bridge the gap, but he's got Colossi in production. ByuN has a chunk of his army. Triple. Oh, he's going straight for the base. He's going to try to get the Nexus. He's going to get 1, 2, and he picks up and gets 3 medevacs out. We'll lose one of them, but he gets the disruptors for the and a Nexus. Wait, no, he didn't get the Nexus for the price of a medevac. Disruptor spotted the mine. Well, you know how. And the army is spotted as well, but ByuN going into something of a base trade. The recall is on cooldown. The planetary actually taking out some of the charge lots. And ByuN will divide, and he's looking to conquer. But Hero has plenty of supply on the field. A couple disruptor hits could easily turn the tides. Just so far, those, the command centers themselves creating a choke point. That is so difficult for even the stalkers to get through. You blink in, and you're inside a planetary. He's jamming through the command center choke point, but they're just taking up so much physical space. More disruptor shots, but stalkers dying to a planetary fortress. The Colossi try to drive by. Probes slaughtered on the open field. Planetary may go down, but the SCVs are helping hold the line. He kills some sentries. He's targeting down key units with a planetary. 50 probes down. A full-on base trade. 3 more Liberators in production. ByuN is retreating. He's breaking down the wall as Hero. A volley of disruptor fire. More Ghosts gonna be taken out. The Colossi still standing. 5 of them so far. Another base gonna go down, but ByuN trickling back. In fact, using the Liberators for anti-air. I think accidentally there for a moment. The door is shut. The Liberators sieging from the outside in. The Terran army is still mostly intact as Hero's been picked to pieces here. The survivors trying to get something done. Still some SCVs out on the field. 50 SCVs down. A brutal exchange. But never base trade at Terran. There are no anti-air units to stop 2 Liberators from killing the Colossi. A Widow Mine kills off another Stalker. Looks like an Orbital went down. There's still 4 Orbitals on the field. Another one spotted. A recall to try to save the base. The Marauders are amused. 6 Marauders versus 3 Colossi. Don't make ByuN laugh. And ByuN! Oh, Hero. He couldn't find it. He intentionally cut his supply at about 60 workers. That is not a mistake. I am quite convinced that was very intentional. But at the end of the day, 135 army supply was still not quite enough. Now, if he had gone Stargate, Templar, Hero clearly testing out that mass robo style. But ByuN is just too nimble, too agile, too flexible. Stop getting so excited. And that brings us into Game 4. I don't know if we'll see a defensive macro style from Hero again. Or if he's going to... Well, that's the thing. At risk of sounding like I'm coloring this too much, I think the nerf to EMP is not nearly as meaningful as the nerf to disruptors. EMP having a smaller radius does not affect its ability to hit most of the army. All you have to do is touch it. It's nearly instant. you can build plenty of ghosts. They're cheaper than disruptors. And there's technically no cooldown. Whereas the disruptor costing 4 supply, clearly hurts Protoss' ability to field a more capable army. Which, if the disruptor shots land, it's great. But you're even more reliant on it with less potential army supply. Oh my god. So, I think that was demonstrated there. I think there's not too much more I would have liked to see out of hero. That was because he wanted to fight. He wanted to fight straight up. He wanted to essentially build an army that ideally would at least trade well with ByuN's. And he did. And he did it with an upgrade advantage and more army supply. But it's so hard to keep the right support units alive. Sentries, stalkers, even to an extent charge lots. And that's why you usually see these armies that are left with like 4 disruptors and a colossus stumbling away. And it's very hard for disruptors to stumble because they're like circular hoverballs. It's a little embarrassing, to be honest. A Stargate. Not to say ByuN didn't play masterfully. Okay, ByuN used everything he needed and then some. In fact, he was ahead most of the game. In just that play from the 3rd orbital. Like, it's one of those hidden in plain sight things. I stand by. That's one of the things that only works against the very best players. Because in latter games, you're scouting every base. Or you're doing the same build regardless of what you're scouting. But hero was looking through the main constantly with hallucinations. He saw no 3rd command center. And ByuN went for bio, which means he could threaten to push at any time. So ByuN just taking the 3rd on location in that location successfully colored hero's response and kind of forced him into, or encouraged him. It didn't really force him, but it severely encouraged him to kind of build up on 2 bases, which just simply doesn't end up stacking up well against a Terran who's already on 3. So ByuN with a top-tier mind game ends up carrying that through. And now we got some more mind games. And mind games as well. Oh. Double adept blocks. So ByuN, in typical Terran fashion, has not scouted and will not be scouting until the first Widow Mine drop here. There are Phoenixes on the way. It's Phoenix first. So if you can intercept the mine drop, and there's only 2 mines inside. There's going to be a lot of ifs coming up here. But if you intercept the mine drop and catch the mines before they can burrow, this is about as ideal of a start as you can get, because ByuN has committed most of his early tech into the mine drop, and he's actually following it up with Cloaked Banshee. So honestly, this couldn't be worse for ByuN. But this is all assuming that not a single Widow Mine fires. He sees it. The Adepts are already in the main. He should be able... Well, he's just waiting. He drops him out. He should be able to get that pickup. Yeah, there you go. And diffuses. The bomb has been diffused. So, this is about best case scenario. I think ByuN canceled Cloak. He did. He got a single uncloaked Banshee, but on seeing the Phoenixes, he canceled Cloak because the likelihood the Banshee is going to do anything is incredibly low. He didn't see the Robo, but at that point, you have to assume either Oracle or Robo would mostly invalidate the Banshee. And the Phoenixes, of course, can take it out easily. Observer heading across. Hero, off to a good start. This time he has all the info. He knows that ByuN is on 2 bases, going on 3. He's going for bio. He knows when the engineering bays are. He's got his Phoenixes in the base. He's going for Robo Bay. Now, far be it from me to angry coach the best Protoss player in the world, but good job. I said not angry. I didn't say no coach. Oh no, a Banshee! I don't know, uncloaked! And he flies right over that classic hero select all army, which was a bit of a panic because he had a Phoenix coming out anyways. Wait, did he lose one? No, but he lost 7 probes to an uncloaked Banshee, which is not ideal. Which, it's about the best case, and he got the recall as well. So ByuN, that's about the best you could hope for. All right, turrets on the way. They're Colossi? Coloxin, already in production. Dodging and dipping back and forth. A Reaper in production. I think that's a misclick. Not a ByuN. Clearly a stressful situation. Phoenix is trying to come in. And, well, is there extended thermal lance? There is not. Which seems more important than making sure this orbital command feels very uncomfortable about its weight. There it is. Extended thermal lance on the way. That's going to be very important. If hero can get there. If he gets to extended thermal lance, I think he's in a great spot. Well, it looks like he wants to... He's thinking about attacking. Which is a very bold move. Even though there's no combat shield, no +1, if he can pick up the siege tank, maybe. He got 9 SCVs. Those Phoenixes putting work in right now. Trying to get as much done as possible. Ghost Academy on the way. He's gonna do a proxy pylon for reinforcement. Looks like hero. He's going to wait out. What? Okay, I 100% think this was an accident, but ByuN's playing it off like it was a real strat. Somehow, ByuN's Reaper gets in and gets a good scout, while also maybe even getting probe kills. Are you kidding? Oh my god. What is happening? How does he do that? He gets 2 probe kills and a full scout, and the Phoenixes are on the other side of the map. And this will buy him a whole lot of time. But the Colossi are already on ByuN's doorstep. Extended thermal lance, +1. Ground weapons done. There are no Vikings. Combat shield about to complete. Very important for ByuN here. All these upgrades coming together. Combat shield done. The boys are going to have to be pulled. Those sentries have a lot of energy. Picks up the Marauders. Now there's a play. Guardian shield used. Trying to get something done. The Marauders back on the deck. And charge lots. Force fields to zone out. No decisive. ByuN just picks up and heads to the other side of the map. He's just going to try to hold. He knows this is a bare bones army here. The charge lots. It feels like it's not so much a base trade when your base has already been traded. But ByuN is going to go for the full on. It worked last game, but last game was very different. Well, the Colossi were getting distracted by the depots. How long on recall? He's recalling directly to the base ByuN is on top of. ByuN will kill 1 Colossus. He'll knock down 2. And there's no anti-air to stop him from picking up and getting out. Some of the sentries are going to go down. Another incredibly hectic game, but the Phoenixes are coming. He chose correctly. And also, honestly, if he wanted to get those units out, it made more sense to send them out as hero was going to protect his main. Of course, ByuN sent the medevacs with the units in it towards the main. Predictable, yet appropriate. Hero has taken the gold. Widowmine's on the field now. But still, he was able to maintain 1 Colossus, building up more. It's quite a supply gap, and it's going to be quite an income gap as well. 2-2, though. About to finish for ByuN's army? He actually got that armory so quick. The army supply heavily in favor of hero here. But Colossus, as always. Oh, EMP hits almost everything. He gets a Guardian shield off. Oh, a scouting Colossus is knocked down. Hero! And ByuN is setting up for the breakout. It doesn't get much better than this. Disruptor, fired off. Kills zealots and ghosts alike. ByuN knows. It's not... He doesn't know that hero doesn't have 2-2 on the way. If he knew that, he might... Well, there's not too many options. He's had to lift his natural. He's been reinforcing from the main. Hero does have... How many gates? 9 gates. He should be able to reinforce this army. Blink is on the way. Another Colossus is stepping up. Widowmine spotted. Disruptor takes it out. Another mine will be baited by the charge lot. Finishes it off. That Disruptor is on cooldown. The force field wall holds the line. But wait, there's a gap. Well, more like a funnel. And the charge lots are slicing up. He has to boost back into his main. ByuN doom dropping both bases. He refuses to die. More SCVs will go down. The Disruptor caught in the front. EMP confirms it. The boys are pulled. There's not enough force field. He's gonna stream right through it. The Warp Prism, a big part of this. Another Colossus comes up, picks up the front line. A couple Vikings in the back are not gonna be enough. And Hero turns it around, and he will be able to tie up this series. Right? Yes? Please, Hero, please. Hold it together. Keep it together, Hero. Oh, I was really confident in that outro. Now Hero pulls back, and the series will continue, and ByuN still has a chance to win 3-1, even though it's highly unlikely at this stage. We'll edit in post. I really thought that was a GG moment, but Hero, you know what? Good foresight here. He's got 2-2 on the way. He's got Blink. He's got 5 bases. Do not give ByuN an opportunity. The depots distracting the Colossi. The Colossi very attracted to attacking supply depots. They can't help it. It's in their DNA or programming. I think they're robots. Either way. Widowmine not actually triggered there. He's gonna send in a charge lot to try to deal with it. Nope. We're just gonna play around this one mine like it's a nuclear bomb needing to be defused. Because that's how we do it. He unburrows it. Here, we'll keep going. The dance continues. I think this still favors, like, it. Right now, Hero's trying to run out the clock on 2-2. And there it is. 3, 2, 1. The depots work both ways. Gonna kill another Colossus. EMPs across everything, but it's not remotely enough. As Hero battles back. And it's all tied up. I wasn't sure we were gonna get here. But here we are now. 2-2. The Stargate aligned for Hero. And he brings ByuN to the decider match. ByuN, honestly, well, what happens when you don't scout until your medevac is in their base is you don't get any information until the medevac is in their base. The sheer hubris of Terran players who don't scout for half the game. Okay, not half the game, but for 4 minutes straight. Finally getting somewhat punished, and it looks like Hero may try to punish it one more time. Is this a Max Packs build? Ah, yes, calling back to the build that brought the now second-ranked Protoss onto the scene. A Max Packs build against ByuN. Well, so the Max Packs build was essentially when Max Packs, a unknown Protoss player, realized that you could probably build just 1 gate instead of like a 2-gate proxy, and just build units out of it, and severely delay the greedy Terrans who always do no scout like 1 Rax expands. So they still do no scout 1 Rax expands. It's just this build got kind of figured out and not nearly as dangerous. But Hero here bringing it back. He's put it on the other side of the... Always fun to see. The other side of the rocks. And... well... The probes have been excessively dangerous. It is going to be a Reaper this game. Not a Marine first. So that means ByuN will have any scouting information. The second question will be what he does with it. Oh, the SCV. Where's the probe? Did he recall the probe? This madman. No. Wait, where did the probe? It's dead.
He's dead, Jim.
The probe died. Which is not the end of the world, but it certainly is not ideal. The SCV on the wrong side of history. ByuN, too slow on the pullback. The Zealot gets a kill, but there's nothing to stop the Reaper. Shield battery on the way. Oh, ByuN actually missed micros for a second. The battery, oh, he gets 2 probes. Here's a Stalker, though. Things gonna get weird. Well, ByuN flaunting his wall-off capabilities in front of hero. A sore spot for the Protoss, who have lost the ability. For all the gates they build, they still haven't figured out doors. And the second Stalker comes up, so the Reaper gonna go back in. Try to catch any probes on their way down. And with the bunker completing, it's just good enough he's able to block out. So, Twilight Council on the way. Huh. I have no idea where we're going from here. He's gonna use the Adept Shade for some high ground vision. Which is, not a small amount of damage. Cancels at the last second. The SCVs will repair while the Shade is down. Okay. Meanwhile, the Adept, or the Zealot, back at home, slaps the Reaper. ByuN reacts in time. Gonna micro back. He should be able to kill the Zealot, which is a bit surprising. Oh no, it's not a super pylon! Everything tucked behind the mineral line there. ByuN actually has more workers right now, as 3 probes have died. He's gonna get a full scout. See the Twilight upgrading here. Gonna keep scouring around, probably looking for a Dark Shrine, considering how this game is gone. And now, Widowmine coming out. He doesn't quite get it, and he loses the Adept. Is he gonna just... Oof. Thought he might sacrifice a Stalker, which doesn't seem worth it. 3 Stalkers, able to circumvent the mine. Salvages the bunker. Is that a Cloak Banshee again? I was like, well, it didn't work last time, but this time, maybe. There's a Robo on the way. It's definitely a different scenario. Siege Tank gonna try to help ByuN break out. He sacrifices all of that just to come back and sacrifice for the Widowmine. Wow. Bob is so angry about it. Well, oh god, the Blink Stalkers. They come in. And ByuN now, without that Siege Tank, I think he needs that command center. Yeah, you can't just... He uses a Stalker, but protects the command center. The Cloak Banshee is now what this is all riding on. There's not going to be that much at home. He's building a shield battery for the eventual defense. That could help against a Banshee. There's no information on that Banshee right now. A second Siege Tank. This one cannot die. He drops the supply depot down. Siege Tank scouted by the meandering Stalker there. And the Cloak Banshee. But fortunately for hero, he has an Observer about to complete. Banshee Cloak just finished. Shield battery is done. He's trying to burn through it. Observer is done, though. Only a few kills. The Blink Stalker should be able to finish it off. It does. They do. And now hero going to be pressuring the main. ByuN not paying attention. That tank is very important. It's able to get out. Hero looking the wrong way. That tank getting out is a huge deal. He needed that. Now he can cover both of his bases. that tech lab, but the siege tank adding so much damage, able to pick off a Marine with each volley. This game is very, very volatile right now. It's hard. Neither player with a significant advantage, but oh. Well, he blinked in the low ground, but loses a bunch of stalkers on the high. Again, volatile indeed. Siege tank coming down. A second one has completed. SCV's pulled off the line. Mules as well. ByuN clearly panicking a little. Observer is right over everything. If hero hadn't lost those 4 stalkers, I'd say he's in pole position here. But, oh, well, the siege tank not quite in position to deal with the stalkers. Has this early max packs pressure been enough? He's dropping more mules. Goes to the side. Doesn't quite get the angle on the tank. More SCVs are going to go down. ByuN really starting to bleed out here. Is there another tank? He has not built one. Does he even have a tech lab? He does not. That's the last tank right now. He blinks on top of it. All it is going to be are Marines and Marauders. Stim is far from complete. hero may be able to blink his way out of this one. I think if ByuN keeps bleeding out like this, he's gonna have to ask himself, why didn't I engineering bay block? It ends up with a 2 out of 2 win rate, and hero takes 3, yet again stealing away from our narrative in the new balance patch and Terran players across the world. Another best of 5 finals. The Blink Stalkers and the early timings enough for hero to scratch out a victory against ByuN. Clearly, with the killer instinct he needs to still compete. I mean, this is not a dramatic shift from hero being the only Protoss with a winning record against Terran before the patch. And as you can see, still continues afterwards. So hero again blinks his way to victory, and ByuN not quite able to keep up. Whew, that was a exhausting, dramatic series. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome if you check out Patreon, YouTube membership, all that. Either way, like, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.